Kanjeevaram in the exotic south of India, in Tamil Nadu, is particularly drenched in tradition, the history of empires, religion and craftsmanship, each an integral and interacting element of this town. Its 1,000 exquisite, ornate and timeless temples are a constant source of inspiration to the craftsmen and master weavers who produce the gorgeous brocade, silk saris and other cloths for which Kanjeevaram is renowned. The special attribute of the sari is the heavy hand-spun silk, flush with brilliant color, jeweled tones surcharged with gold, and the spangle of motifs, making it a many splendorous thing. The sturdiness of the Kanjeevaram tradition lies in the orthodox purity maintained and the stubborn resistance offered to meaningless change, a tradition guardedly handed down through generations. The 30,000-strong textile community is a blend of craftspeople, local or from various parts of the neighboring states and beyond, drawn by the wealth and commerce of Kanjeevaram. The crux of the Kanjeevaram operation, its sine qua non, so to speak, is the adai. It is an extraordinary device, like a computer using a binary code, unpretentious to look at, but commanding and total in its determination of what will emerge from the loom. On the adai, the entire design of the sari is encoded. The threads of the adai are like a programmed information source which lift the appropriate warp threads on the loom. The first preparatory step is to convert the drawing into a pattern of dots. Marking the dots is a very skilled, specialized and difficult job, for the dots mark the threads that will be lifted up, and the gaps between mark the threads that will go down. The adai is made up of 4 threads of varying thicknesses. Learning to measure the central twine, which is the thickest thread holding the key to the entire design, is the first stage. For the zari or gold thread used in Kanjeevaram, raw silk thread is first doubled and dyed an orange color. Fastidious South Indian women demand this orange as proof of authenticity, even though the thread will vanish from view when silver wire is flattened and wound around it and drawn through a gold solution in cyanide, which gives it a golden coating. The pattern makers of Kanjeevaram treat their workshops as schools for the young. Boys and girls from weaver families come to learn adai making. The talented boys graduate to become pattern makers themselves. The girls, alas, are taught only up to a point, for they will soon get married and opt out. A unique character of textile organization is the amalgam of both cottage and machine operations brought under cooperative, private or governmental institutions. Entire families work in one specialized activity of production. unlike in some other handcrafted textiles, where a family may conduct the totality of operations within the confines of their single home. The silk is first reeled, then 2 threads are twisted together for the body of the sari and 3 threads for the borders. This gives the Kanjeevaram sari its strength and weight. The threads from the reels are measured into the warp lengths of the sari. The threads for the body of the sari and the sari borders are then separated for dyeing in different colors. At this stage, a trained boy decodes the pattern graph onto the adai threads, remembering that the dots mark motion up and the gaps between motion down. Thus, along a line, it may be 3 down, 2 up, 2 down, 4 up, 5 down, 1 up, and so on, depending on the design pattern as reflected in the graph. Then a finer white thread is passed through the separated threads, representing the dots to hold the design in permanence. The raw mulberry silk is boiled with bleaching powder to remove its natural yellow gum surface and make it white. Vegetable dyes have given place to acid dyes for their wider range of colors. The zari threads are then wound onto the warping stands. Starting from the top, they are wound across all the way down and up again to make one double length of zari warp. The zari is then stretched in the open and wound onto cloth to be stretched on the loom. The adai now starts coming together, involving the measuring and knotting of threads from the thickest to the fine intermediary loops. The thick cord will finally be attached to the loom. Some 6 months have been taken up by the boys learning how to do this. The yarn, which has been under preparation and dyed, is now taken a step further and sized with starch. This gives an even shrink and smooth surface and makes for a finer weave. The last of the threads are attached to the adai with the main elements of the design marked with turmeric to identify them. The turmeric treatment is also auspicious. Equal gaps between the warp threads are maintained on the loom by a comb-like device called the reed. So big is the scale of weaving in Kanjeevaram that some 70 families do nothing but make reeds to meet the demand. Elsewhere, other families are making heeled sets. The heels lift and lower every alternate warp thread. The thread loops are made with remarkable speed and are given a finish with gum paste rubbed down with deer horn. Finally, the last phase of the adai. All threads are in place and it can go to the weaver. Many designs emerge in Kanjeevaram like this every day, born in the mind and manifest only when the loom yields the finished product. Some are hits, others are flops. It's like cakes or idlis. A lot of people make them, but some come out soft, others hard. So it is with designs.
Smoothness and hardness.
And now at the weavers, the adai is attached on the loom. The threads of the sari warp pass through the adai threads according to the pattern. The weaving begins. There are separate adais for the border, the body pattern and the pallav. The weaver lifts the border adai by pulling the string cords attached to it. For the body or pallav, an assistant inserts a wooden slat between the threads after separating them for each line. For simultaneous but separate multicolors, Kanjeevaram weavers use 3 shuttles. One color interlocks with another at the edge of the body and borders. The interlocking often takes the form of a temple pattern. 3 shuttles can also combine a cotton body with silk borders. A speciality of the Kanjeevaram sari is the patni technique, by which the body can have different colors. After a body has been woven, a second warp with the border color is attached to the body warp by passing the threads, one at a time, through the heeled and reed. The 2 warps are woven together for 1 inch before the original body warp is cut off. And so, a feast of color, a cascade of beauty, fields of cloth of gold.